Hey guys, welcome to my little paintbrush. I am Sarah, and today we are going to be painting some bohemian inspired mountains. We are in Utah and mountains surround us, so this is one of my favorite paintings. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. It's a very simple piece, very relaxing, and I think the most important thing to remember is to enjoy yourself and have fun mixing colors, because this whole piece is about mixing to get the shade that you want. So I'm going to have a couple brushes to help me out here. My large flat, small flat detail brush, and then I also have a brush for flicking. One of our favorite things to do is flick paint. So make sure you have a brush that's stiff. It could be a toothbrush. Even your flat brush would work if you make sure it's really dry and stiff enough to flick. It could work too. So let's get started. Make sure you have a cup of water handy or a jar, a napkin, and then I also have all of my paint laid out on my plate for me. Keep in mind that because we're doing color mixing, you do want to separate your white so you don't contaminate it all at once, and your brown. We're going to be using a lot of brown with every color today. So make sure we don't just contaminate all your brown all at once, kind of split it up. All right, let's do this. So we're gonna start off with the fun part. Usually we leave it till the end, but today we're gonna start with flicking. We want to flick the sky of our moon canvas first. So I have my brush ready, and to save my tracing, I brought along some paper. And I'm just going to tape it here along the edge of my mountains. Okay, so you can tape it wherever you feel you need the most coverage. I'm gonna do my mountains here. Let's see, this little edge. Oh, I'm just gonna tape here because I'm doing a double canvas. Now, I'm taping it because my canvas is standing up. If I were to be teaching this in our studio to you, or if you're doing this at home, I would just have you lay your canvas flat on the table and put paper around to protect your tracing. Don't worry about the moon, okay? We're just going to flick the moon, and it's okay. We have a way to fix that later. So first things first, dip your flicking brush or toothbrush, whatever you're using, in water. And we're going to use our green, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of my green. Make sure it's thin. That is the trick to flicking. You want it nice and runny. See that? Very runny. And that is the trick. You can test it. Let's see. I'm going to grab a piece of paper, and you can test it on a piece of paper by just flicking towards your paper and see if you're getting some good dots. I like those. Those look pretty good. If you're not, it might mean that you need more water, okay? So keep that in mind. Kind of test it on paper or a plate. And the key to flicking is you want to face your brush in the direction you want your paint to flick. And then you're going to pull back with your finger and let it fly. It's very fun. It's one of our favorite things to do at the studio. So you want to face it though. Make sure it's facing the direction you want to go. And then just pull that finger back and let it land where it lands. Just going to go around. You can fill it up as much as you want, as many spots you want. You keep it thin or keep flicking till it's nice and thick. There you go. I like it. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, so now that I'm done, I'm going to set my brush aside, and we're going to gently pull the paper off like that. Perfect. And there you have it. A beautifully flicked sky. Don't you love that? I love it. Now, if you have areas where you feel like you want more spots once you pull the paper off, I just like to take my detail brush like this, and I'll just kind of dab in some random spots, and you'll see that it will fill in the space. Anywhere that you feel like you didn't get enough and you want more, just kind of dab it with your detail brush, and it fills it in perfectly well. All right, so there's your sky. Let's let it dry a minute and mix our paint. So I'm gonna use my large flat brush now. Put it in my water, make sure it's damp because acrylic paint needs water, it dries out. And let me give you some advice here on mixing paint. Lesson learned for me. You want to make sure you mix enough of it to cover both canvases if you're painting this for yourself, because it's really hard to match the paint again. So I want to make sure I give myself a good amount of paint. And I'm gonna start with my top mountain line here. And I'm going to mix a very light, almost salmon pink. And the way we do that is we're gonna add a touch of red here to some white, okay? And I just mix a little bit at a time. That way I have control over how dark it gets. So I'm just doing a touch of red at a time. And I want to create first a light pink. And you can see I'm using quite a bit of white because I want to make a good amount. Then I'm going to add a touch of brown just to give it that smoky pink look about it. I love it. Okay. So now that I have my pink mix, I'm pretty happy with that. I like that look. I'm going to now paint my top line. Gotta set my paper down. Here we go. We're gonna paint the top mountain. Okay, just be careful not to touch any green if it is still wet, as it will smear into your mountain. Okay, and I'm trying to paint from side to side to give myself a nice horizon line. You can also reach around and paint the side of your canvas to finish it off. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to fill that in, make sure I don't have any drips going on, just like that. And then I'm going to match it up over here with this side of my mountain line. Coming up. This is the edge of my canvas since it's a split here. We're going to paint this all the way around the river bend. I won't start singing for you. Here we go, all the way around. Okay, so we just make sure we have that pink on there the way you like. I also like to take just a touch of red or white on the corner of my brush and follow the top of my mountains, just face it up, give it a hint of light. It's not super obvious, okay? It's just a little touch of light, but it adds something that I love. Okay, so once that's on there, we're gonna go to our next color, which is this middle one. And that is going to be red. And I'm gonna add it here just next to my pink because we're using the same colors. We're just gonna make it a little darker. So I'm gonna use red and yellow. Okay, make almost this orangish red color there. You see that? And then I'm going to add some brown. I didn't rinse my brush. I am mixing all of these colors together. I just keep on adding until I love it. There we go. Make sure you have a little bit of white in there as well. I just keep mixing. I'm going to add a little more yellow. Okay, I like that color. Happy with it. Put it on there. It's almost an orangey red. But that brown just really warms it up. I love it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish up this mountain line, coming right into our pink. Again, I'm trying not to pick up my brush. And I'm not too worried about that mountain line because we're going to come back through with white, a white outline later, and it will fill that in. So all I'm doing right now is getting my color in place. You worry about the details later. Okay, so we'll fill that in, make sure it's nice and smooth. my split canvas here, giving myself somewhat good line down for you guys. There we go. And we'll do this side too. This is why you want to make sure you mix enough color, because it's really hard to match it again. I have done that many times where I spend a lot of time matching my colors, so give yourself a good amount there. Save yourself the time of color matching. There we go. I'm going to come right along here and finish up the top edge next to my pinkish mountains. Come around the river. Such a fun color palette. I love these colors. Here we go. Go around there. Beautiful. This top right here, I just, for some reason, didn't fill in. Now I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm just going to add a touch of white to the corner of my brush and follow the top of the mountains. Blend that in a little bit. It's not super noticeable, but it gives it a little bit of a light that wasn't there before. I like to add some light to my paintings. Brightens them up. And it's not super noticeable, but it just adds some color and depth. I'm just going to brush that light in along the edge of the mountains, along the top of the horizon line. Brush it out. Make sure it's nice and smooth. There we go. Okay, now this little mountain right here is this color, only I added some white to it and lightened it up. That's all I did. Because I want to keep these all the same shade and yet have this one stand out slightly. You could even add some yellow to it if you want. So if you feel like you need a little yellow mixed in there, you can. But all I really did was added some white to it and gave it that in-between shade between the pink and the red. And then we're going to put that on here on this mountain. You could even just paint it red if you want, or pink. I just had some fun with this color palette and changing it up a little bit. Just a slight difference that's not super noticeable, but makes it kind of fun. Okay, so I'm going to follow this mountain line around that corner. Fill it in. There we go. Brush out any little strokes that might be there. Perfect. Okay, let that dry a minute. Let's rinse our brush. Now our last mountain line is green. However, it's a really dark shade of green because I'm going to mix brown with my green as well. It's a very foresty green. So all I'm going to do is take this brown here, scoop it up, and I'm going to mix it in my green over here. I want it nice and dark, so I'm using quite a bit of brown, mixing that in. You can add yellow if you want. And to make it a little more limier, I didn't. I just kept it green and brown with a touch of white. Kept it very dark. And once you're happy with it, you can go ahead and paint that. Let's see. I had something holding down my canvas. It's gone now, but that's okay. We'll just paint right over it. Okay. So I'm going to fill that with my foresty green color. Follow that horizon line around. Isn't that a pretty dark green? I love it. You can keep mixing until you like your green though. And it's kind of hard to tell what color or what shade your green is until you paint it. So you could even take a plate or paper and paint on it first before you go to canvas, just to make sure you like the shade. sometimes it's hard to tell until you start painting. So here's this one over here, this little mountain peeking out in the corner. Curve it around. All the way around that river bend, huh? Gotta brush it in, get rid of any streaks. You may need to do 2 layers of this green if you want it really dark. Just a little tip from me. If you want that really dark shade of green, just go over it about 2 times and you'll get that. The green is a little bit transparent, so that's why. You can reach around and paint your the sides of your canvas as well right here. But there you have it. Rinse that brush and let it dry a minute. Rinse it really good because we are now going to do our sun and our moon. So first thing first, I'm going to come over here to my moon and put a layer of white over it. Just the white. Just going to paint that white right over the moon. Covers up the green beautifully. And now let's mix some yellow and white together for our sun and our moon. Told you we'd have lots of fun mixing today, right? So we're going to mix those together, add a touch of brown. Because again, our color palette has brown in all our colors, so I keep that going. Why do I have that smeared? I did not realize that happened. How did that get on there? I don't even know how I did that. You probably do. You probably saw it happen. I missed it completely. It's okay. It's okay. Easy fix. Stand by. Here we go. I'm just gonna fix that mountaintop. Oh dear. We're gonna have a green moon or sun. All right, let's just put some white over that. Cover it up. And then, let's see. I don't know how we got all that green in there, but we don't want that. So all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wipe it off real quick. There we go. Just wanna dry it up. Okay, let's just add that yellow again to our sun. There we go. I do not know how I got that green on here. I'm gonna watch this later and be like, oh, didn't realize I did that. Somehow I flicked green all inside my sun. All right, so let's fill it now. We're gonna go around it, fill it with that yellow. Now whenever I'm doing a circle, I really try to go around without picking up my brush. And this is tricky to do, but if you can manage it, you'll get a smooth line. So I'm trying not to pick up my brush, go all the way around. Cover up that green. Good times. Okay. Things happen, you know? You just roll with it. It's okay. One thing I love about acrylics is I can cover just about anything if I need to. It's okay. Okay, so we have our sun on here. So let that dry a second. And while that's drying, we're going to come over here to our moon and paint our moon in. Now I'm going to switch brushes here. I'm going to use a smaller brush so I can get into those little corners by using the toe of my brush. If you don't know what the toe is, imagine your brush standing literally on its tippy toes. And you can use the tippy toe point of your brush to paint those little corners. Okay, just like that. Let's get those little corners painted in. And if you painted your moon white first, it will just cover up the green very easily for you. So there you go. There's our moon shape. Love it. Make sure our sun is nice and covered now. Bless me, sorry. Okay, there we go. Our moon and our sun's on there. So I'm going to show you how to do a quick shading trick here on our sun and our moon. Just like you did on the mountains, we're just going to put a touch of white on our brush and then yellow on the other side. Okay, and we're going to brush that light in on the right side of our sun. Just to give it a little bit of a highlight. Just create a sideways rainbow or smile shape and let it fade into your yellow. And we'll do the same over here with the moon. Face that white towards the inside of the moon, or the outside edge, I guess. Brush it around, and it gives it that light right there along that edge. Okay, rinse your brush. We're just going to do our finishing work now. So now that that's done, I'm going to take my detail brush, just like this. Any little things we got to cover. And then you can come over here and kind of shape out the river if you need to. Give it that smooth edge. Grab some white and let's shape it out. If you need another layer, we'll do it. No problem. But I do like to come over and just clean up my edges. You may not need to, you might be happy with it, and that's great. Just right around here. And I clean it up with my detail brush. Curve around. It also makes it nice and white for you. There we go. So I'm just going to paint it in. Nice. We'll also do the outlining here in just a minute. Just like that. Okay, so now one of the last things we do here is I'm going to outline my mountains with white. So add some water to your white, thin it out so it's nice and thin for you. We're going to start top to bottom. Believe it or not, I actually outline this top pink mountain. It's not super noticeable to you, but it cleans up any lines I might want to clean up. Okay, so let's go ahead and outline the pink and our orangish red mountain. You can add as many layers of this white as you want to make it as bright as you want. Every layer brightens it a little more. Now we want to match up our mountains. So I'm going to come up here. You can lay your canvases side by side and match them up so that that white line comes together for you. It looks good next to each other. Your lines can be super thick or super thin. That is a personal preference. So whichever you prefer. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here, and I love how this green and white look next to each other. Isn't that pretty? Just really pops next to the green. Come up and around there. Such a pretty contrast. And over here, we're going to do the same. There we go. I smeared some of my white right there. There we go. Fix that. Clean up any lines there. Now at this point, if you want to, you can paint your sky white with the white paint. If you want to go ahead and paint the sky, go for it. I am not going to. I left mine the canvas on both sides. All right. Fill that side in as well. And I also went along the edge of this one, just to make sure I cleaned it up. There you go. Brush out any brush strokes you don't like. It looks awesome. I love it. All right, so you'll need to add a couple layers of white maybe. It just depends on how bright you want it. Okay, I left mine about one good layer on there. Sure my river. Okay there. And there you go. Awesome. Now this area here. I just kind of came into it, so if that happens to you, you just go back. Again, make sure you have mixed enough paint to do that. I love it. So the last thing I do is I'm going to splatter this mountain over here with some of this green color because I wanted the two of them to come together, right? So if you want to do that with me, you can. I'm going to first cover, again, like I did over here. I just want to cover up anything I don't want splattered, right? So I put those there. And this one here. And then this one here. There we go. Now you can splatter anything you feel like. You don't have to just do what I'm doing here. I liked splattering this mountain. I'm just gonna make sure you flick it, point it at the mountain and flick. A couple of spots there. Oh, I'm getting some thick splatter, so make sure you add water to it if you feel like it's not flicking very well. There it goes. So we're gonna flick that on there. And then carefully remove your papers. Awesome. And again, if you want to, if you have little spots that you feel like didn't get the little flicks, you can just add the tip of your brush there. Put them on there wherever you want. And there you have it, guys. There is your painting. Make sure you sign it somewhere. Find a spot. I just made a little bit of this turquoise green and hid my signature inside the green hill here, so it didn't take away from the painting. Right? So you can just find yourself a little spot. And there you go. So cute, so fun. Thank you for painting with us today. We hope you had a good time. If you liked this painting, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.